Hello everyone, once again I welcome you all to this YouTube page. Thank you for your continuous support. This is Lenin, Assistant Professor of English, PG and Research Department of English, St. Joseph's College of Arts and Science, Kadalur. This video content is done for 2nd MA English for the paper Subaltern Literature, Unit 3, Fiction, written by Shivkami IAS, Pazhayana Kazhidalum, English equivalent, In the Grip of Change. Shivkami's literary career started with the publication of her first short story collection, Ippadikku Ungal Arthamulla, Realistically Yours. After becoming an IAS officer, she published her first novel Pazhayana Kazhidalum in the year 1989. It portrays the communal imbalances and inferiority of Dalits. Shivkami IAS is famously called as Pasumai Puratchi Shivkami. She was an IAS officer, but she resigned her job for social reformation. She published her second novel Anandayi in the year 1992. It extensively rivals the miseries of the peasant woman in a feministic perspective. Her third novel Paku in 1997, a Dalit metafiction, authenticates her objectives of writing the novel Pazhayana Kazhidalum. Later, her first novel was translated into English by Shivkami herself as A Grip of Change in the year 2006. Her fourth novel in the year 1992, Kurukku English equivalent, Cross Section, is a psychological inquiry into the hypocrisy of Indian marriages. Her collections of short stories were published in 3 volumes, namely Naalum Thadarum, Continues Still, Kadaisi Mandar, The Last Force, and Kadaigal, Story. The Grip of Change is the English translation of Pazhayana Kazhidalum, the first full-length novel by Shivkami, an important Tamil Dalit writer. So Shivkami is considered as important Tamil Dalit writer. This translation also features Asariyar Kurippu, the sequel in which Shivkami revisits her work. The protagonist of book 1, Kathamuthu, is a charismatic Parayar leader. So again, through this video, we are going to focus on the subaltern theory of marginalization. It is very well clear, it is obvious, the protagonist is a leader of Parayas. Parayar in the Tamil community are downtrodden, they are subaltern, they are untouchable. He intervenes on behalf of a Parayar woman, Tangam, beaten up by the relatives of the upper class lover. I said Parayars are untouchable, are lower class, are marginalized by the ruling class people. It's not my view, it's a system. The social structure is like that. Kathamuthu works as state missionary in the village caste hierarchy to achieve some sort of justice for Tangam. The first Tamil novel by Dalit woman, Pazhayana Kazhidalum, went beyond condemning caste fanatics, people who are caste fanatics, fanatic in the sense crazy, very extreme people who wanted to follow caste and create in each and every aspect, each and every activity they do. Shivkami is critical of the Dalit movement, the Dalit patriarchy, and yet does not become a caste traitor because of her participation in search for solution. Though Shivkami is a Dalit activist, though Shivkami is a Dalit by herself, though Shivkami is a Dalit writer, she does not want the Dalit patriarchy to be followed. Equality she. The novel became an expression of Dalit youth and eagerly working for the change. In book 2, the author notes Kathamuthu's daughter Gauri traces the circumstances and events of a novel. The result is a fascinating exploration of the disjunctures between what happens in the author's family and community and her fictional interpretations of those happenings. So, Kathamuthu, then Valli, now Gauri. The series of books in the literature and translation series are translations of insignificant literature from Indian languages. translation, whenever a work is being translated, it becomes so significant. The books in the Dalit Studies series deal with Dalit life and Dalit thought. The first novel by Dalit woman, The Grip of Change, went beyond contemplating caste fanatics by using fiction with the biographical elements to describe how human beings are shackled and tangled around ourselves. Caste, an important social issue, plays a major role in Shivkami's first novel. Instead of being the journey of an individual voice and consciousness, it is an anonymous expression of the youth of this oppressed community Parayar, eager and waiting for change. How the community will be changed, how a community would take a new direction. This is what Shivkami wanted to stress. The grip of changes Gauri's witnesses account of society around her, her observations, her sensitivity to the happenings around her, and responses to them. How Gauri visualizes a society in front of her. How Gauri visualizes a society which she accommodates. Observations around her and responses to them. As a witness, she records the most serious issues of Dalits and how they are treated as inferiors at all levels in the society. This is what Seva we wanted to focus on. How Dalits are treated as inferiors in all walks of life, in all levels of society. Let it be from upper strata to the lower strata. Treated as low caste people, the Dalits are marginalized socially, economically, politically, and exploited physically and psychologically. See how they are Dalits are marginalized socially. Socially, they are marginalized. They do not have good work. They do not have good employment. They do not have good home. Economically, the salary is too low. The salary is so made to be said. Somehow, sometimes they don't even have salary. Politically, the Indian system of politics is not at all encouraging or supporting Dalit writers, Dalit movements, Dalit activities, Dalit rulers, and exploited physically and psychologically. Dalits are being exploited elsewhere. Every now and then we hear news about them. They are conditioned to accept the servility and the superiority of the upper caste through the character of Gauri, the young girl. Shivkami, the writer, traces the oppression exercised by the upper caste towards Dalit in terms of labor, exploitation, and inhuman treatment. Dalits are treated inhumanly because of their caste, because of their strata. Throughout the novel, the writer records her personal experience with agony and shame, and it is a vibrant personal as well as collective histories of Dalit. As I said earlier, Shivkami is Dalit activist, herself is a Dalit, and then voices for the downtrodden. Kathamuthu, a Dalit leader already married to Kanagavalli, takes on an upper class Hindu widow Nagamani as his second wife. The Dalit woman Kanagavalli, Kathamuthu's first wife, remains a mute spectator and even develops a bonding of friendship with his second wife Nagamani. How a Dalit leader marries an upper class woman. When Tangam, the Dalit woman, is exploited by her upper class Udaya landlord, Kathamuthu champions her caste and exploits the situation to attain his own ends. So this is where the story revolves. Kathamuthu, Tangam, Udaya, Kanagavalli, these are all not only mere characters, but they are the embodiment of the social outcast people, Dalits. The compensation cleverly obtained rising caste issue is enjoyed by Kathamuthu himself, and later he exploits Tangam's vulnerability, which leads to Tangam earning a place in Kathamuthu's home as a third woman in the household. So Tangam, Kathamuthu, Nagamani, Kanagavalli, these are all the characters who played the role of the Dalit, as well as they wanted to uplift themselves from the shackles of society. In negotiating and trying to probe into inter-caste sexual relationships, the author sheds light on how patriarchy gets diluted its way down the caste ladder. Patriarchy, male dominance. Even though they are Dalits, male dominance is very well prompted between the within the community. In the affair between Dalit Katamutu and the caste Hindu widow Nagamani, she earns rightful place as a second wife in his home. A high class Hindu can become wife of a Dalit, but the Dalit cannot marry a high class woman as of now. Conversely, Udaya's treatment of Tangam as his mistress is not brought within the socially approved relationship because of her caste. Udaya treatment of Tangam, exploiting Tangam by the upper class men, by the ruling man, Udaya. His mistress is not within socially approved relationship because of her caste. While Dalituman Kanangavalli Kathamutu's first wife gradually accepted the second wife into Rasul, Kamalam, wife of Paranjoti Udayar, incites her brothers to assault her husband's mistress Tangam. On one case, Kathamuthu married upper class people. His first wife and his second wife both are united. They live life peacefully, harmoniously. Kathamuthu's wife accepted her rival. But as in the case of Udayar, Paranjoti Udayar, his wife did not accept Tangam and made her to be assaulted. Even the Udayar is not ashamed of overpowering a low caste woman for sex, but is only ashamed of the news and society that treats him as an upper class man. It is not the news that he has exploited a Dalit woman. It is not a news that he will be published in the media in the very soon. It is not of any importance that they belong to a upper community, a qualified community, a dignified community. By speaking about the tyrannical overbearings, corruption and polygamy of male characters, Shivkami speaks for the most vulnerable members of the Dalit community, its women. So, problem within the problematic community. Even though they are Dalits, they should be united. But male patriarchy prevails in Dalit community. This is what Shivkami wanted to. Tangam, the low caste woman's history, is constituted by a widowhood. Harassed by his brothers-in-law, when she refused to submit to them, she is not given her share of the family land. She does not have any children. So Tangam is a qualified person to get her rights equally, to get the land of her own. But what happened? Harassed by her brothers-in-law, she refuses to submit to them. She is not given her share of the family land. Why? Because she does not have any children. So these are all the structured system of India where people have to follow this with no relaxation. She has to earn a living by working in Udaya's land. She becomes a victim of the sexual advances by her upper caste landlord Paranjoti Udayar. Whenever Udayar feels thirst for his physical appetite, he always use Tangam as an outlet of his emotions. But she dares not to raise her voice against his injustice for fear of social ostracism. In the name of loyalty to the one who gives her means of livelihood, she keeps quiet, and her helplessness to assert herself speaks volumes of the silent agony undergone by Dalit women in the lands of upper caste men. How Dalit women are exploited by upper caste men. The second chapter of the Grip of Change throws light on the pariahs being separated from the higher class caste people dwellings. So, separation within the community. In Puliyur, the village and the Cheri are almost joined. Cheri means slum. People of low rank live. Perhaps it is a new few tamarind scenes that keep the Cheri and the upper class people apart. The village is the part where the caste Hindus live. The Dalit communities are confined to Cheri alone, a ghetto located at the margins of the village, a slum area. The vivid picture of the ghettos in which the Dalits are confined to their isolation marks a social marginalization, the isolation between Dalits and the high class Hindus. In the novel, only during the Mariamman temple festival, the whole Cheri wears a festival look. Apart from that, the Cheri always look green and look sad. The festival season is the only time in their entire life they can eat, drink to their heart's content. Despite the geographical division, pork and liquor are the favorites of the pariahs, which will be served during the festival. So this is what their wish desires. The Grip of Change is a book which should be read by every Indian to understand how women gets oppressed in our caste infested society, because it shows how caste and gender play together to shape our society. Upper class, lower class, male, female, caste and gender plays an important role in shaping the society of us. The most important aspect of the book is its representation of Dalit women and misuse of power by male Dalit leaders. Their own community leaders are misusing the women of the community, misleading them, misusing them, guiding them. Shivkami's message should stay alive not to just in our minds but our nations by fighting against this social. So, so far we had seen poetry and poetry and fiction also. All the works centers around on the marginalization of the have-nots, the low-class people, have-nots, the poor people, poor section, soldiers. So this is how subaltern literature is full of. Thank you for watching the video. Meet you all soon through another video content. Thank you very much.